Good morning. Welcome back or welcome to Yoga with Ciara. Today is day 4 of dynamic balance. I have a seminar today, so things are always a little bit busy on the morning of a seminar for me. Bear is just hunting moth. So yes, twisting, side bending, and really feeling into the feet. I was watching a thing yesterday about how the feet are the foundations of our structure. It's like the unlocking of the feet gives space to the whole body. So we're going to focus on the feet this morning and side bending and twisting. So come lie on your back. Come. Welcome. So nice. So landing in onto your back. And then stretch your right leg up towards the ceiling. And just take a few deep breaths as you feel the lengthening of the back of your right thigh. And you're, just gently beginning to notice how can you move your toes? So can you stretch your baby toe out a bit? Can you stretch your big toe? Is there space between, are there spaces? Is there space between your middle toes? Nice. And then how would you keep your toes wide and begin to move your foot? I'm doing left to right movement of my foot as I try and keep my toes wide, and then forward and backwards of my foot, or flexing and extending. And again, I can feel my fingers are helping me, my jaw is helping me. I did some research yesterday. So now begin to roll your foot in a circle and let your toes move in whatever direction they want to as you draw a circle with your ankle. And so I did some research. I asked a group of people, where do you feel it when you move into your toes? Circle in the other direction. There was jaw, shoulders, diaphragm, pelvic floor, calves, hands. It was really amazing. Nice. Now bend your right knee, squeeze it towards you. And just let that settle. Nice. Open and close your toes like fists. Open wide, squeeze them in. Open wide, squeeze them in. Nice. Change legs. Stretch your left leg up towards the ceiling. Just breathe into the back of your calf, the back of your thigh. Nice. And then widen into your toes. Create space. Baby toe side is out, big toe side is out. And then begin to move your foot from side to side, keeping that space between your toes. So I have these toe spacers, which are really amazing. And so often I'll do a yoga practice with my toe spacers in. And it changes how my legs connect to each other. I'll show you them tomorrow. Okay. And then flex your foot and extend, keeping your toes wide. Again, I can feel my thumbs working and my jaw working to help my foot. And then draw a circle, letting your toes move in whatever direction they want to as you circle your ankle. And then circle in the other direction. So for me, this is really exhausting for my foot. It's like, oh my God, this is just so much work. But that's a really good thing. Nice. Bend your knee, squeeze your knee onto your chest, hug it deeply down. Nice. And then make fists out of your toes. Stretch your toes, fists. Stretch your toes, fists. Stretch your toes. Nice. Stretch both legs up towards the ceiling. And then turn your heels in and your toes outwards, a bit like Charlie Chaplin. And then turn your toes in and your heels outwards. So just do that a few times. Heels in, toes out. Toes in, heels out. Heels in, toes out. Toes in, heels out. And then shake your legs. So how would you really let your legs turn to jelly? Can you feel that the whole of your leg is jiggling? So yeah, I can feel, interesting, I can feel the leg that I broke there a few years ago. I can feel it. Usually I don't feel it. Usually it's really very neutral in sensation, but just there as I jiggle, I'm like, whoa, there's my leg. Nice. And then bring both feet to the floor. Cool. So plant your feet on the floor, feel all of your toes, and then lift your heels. And then lift the front of your feet, keeping your heels on the ground. Lift your heels, lift the front of your feet. Lift your heels, lift the front of your feet. Now, roll onto the baby toe side of your feet without your knees moving wide. And then roll onto the big toe side of your feet without your knees compressing inwards. So how do you make it about the ankles rather than the knees? Because if you move your knees, all you're doing is keeping your ankles solid and moving the hips. So can you keep your knees still as you rock your feet in and as you rock your feet out? Big toe side, baby toe side, big toe side, and then pause at the baby toe side. So when we're in a lunge position and our foot is back, or when we're in water whooshing, the foot that's out, or when our feet are wide, this is what we're doing with our feet. We're resting into the baby toe side of our feet. And just feel that. Nice. Let your feet relax. Drop both knees down to the right. And then let both knees down to the left. And notice what your feet are doing as you do this now. What happens through your knees, your calves, your hips as you rock your knees from side to side? I feel I have a lot more mobility in my ankles. I'm noticing a lot more about my ankles as I do this. Bring your arms wide. We're coming into gliders. Drop your knees to the right and then glide your left knee up in the direction of your right shoulder. Come all the way back. And then the other side, right knee up in the direction of the left shoulder. So as you travel with the left knee, really try and keep your left shoulder down on the floor. So you're opening into your chest. And as you draw your right knee up, what's happening with your feet? How would you connect your feet to this movement? So I'm really engaging the baby toe side of my foot into the floor as I draw up. And I'm really spreading my toes of the traveling leg. I'm like really dynamic into my feet as I move. Nice. So come back to center. And now I want you to imagine that you've just picked up a pencil between your toes. So you're going to make a fist out of your toes. Okay? And keep that fist of toes and then draw your knee up towards your chest. And then stretch your leg up towards the ceiling. And then bend your knee and bring your foot to the floor. Let your heel touch. So you're keeping your toe in a fist and you're stretching your leg up towards the ceiling. Bend your knee and let your heel touch the floor. Draw your knee up towards your chest. Stretch your leg. Bend your knee and then bring your heel to the floor. One more time. Keep your toe really tight. You're squeezing your toes like you're holding on to something. Draw your knee towards your chest and then stretch towards the ceiling. Reach down, hold on to the back of your thighs. And then open your toes. Nice. So really drop your weight into the back of your pelvis and then lengthen into the left leg. So now my left leg is floating just above the floor. Let your left leg travel. So draw your left knee up and then stretch your left leg long. Draw your left knee up. Stretch your left leg long. And as I do this, I'm really widening into my toes as much as possible on that right leg and even on the left leg. So as I travel, I now have wide open toes. Super. Bring both feet to the floor. My foot feels really excited after that in a really nice way. So squeeze the left toes like you've just picked up a pencil. Draw the left knee up onto your chest and then stretch the left leg up towards the ceiling, but keep your toes all squeezed in like a little fist, like you're holding onto a pencil. Bend your knee onto your chest. Bring your heel to the floor. Knee to your chest. Stretch your leg up. Knee to your chest. Heel to the floor. Knee to your chest. Stretch your leg up. Knee to your chest, heel to the floor. Last one. I can feel my thumbs. It's funny, my thumbs really help my foot. Stretch your leg up, hold on to the back of your thigh, open your toes wide. Nice. Now let your right leg travel. So draw your right leg long till it floats just above the floor. And then squeeze your right knee up towards you. And now I'm trying to open my toes as wide as they go. How would I really stretch and open into my feet as I lengthen the right leg and as I draw the right knee up towards me? Lengthen, stretch into your toes. Like how big can you get your feet to be? One last time. Super. Both feet to the floor. And then squeeze both knees up onto your chest. Pull your knees towards you. You can choose to lift your head or you can choose to leave your head on the floor. Okay? Bring your feet to the floor and then lift your hips up. Bring your arms overhead. This is the movement we've been doing every class so far. Squeeze your knees towards you. You have the choice of lifting your head. Drop your arms overhead. Lift your pelvis. Nice. Squeeze your knees towards your chest. Perhaps lift your head. Hips lift, arms overhead. Nice. So we're going to do one variation of this before we come up to stand. So draw your right knee up towards you. And again, you have the choice of lifting your head if you wish, or keeping your head on the floor. Now as your arms and your left foot is on the floor and your left foot is really solid. So your left leg is going to stay with your foot on the floor. Okay. And now stretch into your right leg, reach your arms overhead. But as you do so, lift your hips off the floor into zoomies. Bend your knee. Either just draw your knee towards your chest or lift your head towards your knee. Arms overhead, zoomies. Bend your knee. And as I travel, I'm focusing on really powerful, deep connection down into my feet. How do I make this really deeply about the push and the length of my feet? Squeeze your knee up. Stretch long. Squeeze. Long. Nice. So I feel like my shoulders have walked away from my feet, so I'm going to shimmy myself back. And then the last side before we come up to stand. So squeeze your left knee up. Maybe lift your head. See what's right for you. Arms long overhead. Lengthen your left leg out into zoomies. Hips are lifted. Bend your knee. Squeeze. Lengthen long. And I feel really powerful into my feet. Squeeze. Long. Last time. Squeeze. Long. Nice. Land. Pause. Super. So roll over. And come up into your downward dog. So now we have alive and connected feet. How does that feel? Just sensing in. Try and draw your heels a bit closer to the floor. And lean into your calves, widen your toes. Bend your knees, straighten your legs. Bend your knees, straighten your legs. So draw your right knee forward till it lands on the floor. So we're coming into zigzag. So you can either drop both knees to the floor to begin with. Slide your right knee forward between your two hands. Sit your right bum down and then end up so that your two knees are bent. You're sitting on your right bum. Your left bum is a little bit lifted in the air. So when we're sitting like this, if one of your knees is going, oh, I don't really like this, then stretch that leg out long. So you're better off protecting your knee and doing the movement than hurting your knee. Never hurt your knees. It's just not worth it. So for those of you with both knees bent, there's a side bend happening. So squeeze the left side of your rib cage a little bit more. So draw your shoulders so they're a little bit more even. And as you do that, feel that there's more length happening on the right side and the left side is shortened. So reach your right arm up towards the ceiling and feel if you can, or notice if you can feel a connection from your hip into your fingertips. So as you do this, this is the connectivity or the line of elasticity in our body. So reaching up a little bit higher and then get a bit lower. So we're just kind of gliding upwards with our right hand and then kind of sinking a bit. Gliding upwards with our right hand and then sinking. Nice. One more time. Glide upwards. How tall can you truly get through that right side? And notice how the left side is shortening. So your left shoulder is dropping. I have crinkles on my left side, whereas there's no crinkles on the right. It's just lengthening, reaching, long. Nice. Bring your right hand down and sweep your right hand behind you so that you bring your fingers behind your right bum, kind of. And then bring your left hand to your hip. Now left hand to your right knee and then lengthen your spine and turn your chest towards the right. How would you get taller here? Breathe into your belly. Nice. Resting down, come rest down. So both elbows are either side of that right knee. And draw your forehead down or your nose down towards your right knee. As you deepen your breath, as you really sink into your hip, how would you let the weight of your chest really land on your thigh? Nice. Both hands to the floor, push back, downward dog. Nice. So lift up onto your toes, drop back onto your heels. Toes, heels, and then bending one knee and bending the other knee. So as you do this, side bend a little bit into your side body, into the side of your waist. And so as I bend my right knee, I drop my pelvis towards the right. As I bend my left knee, I drop my pelvis towards the left. And I'm trying to make it so that's really a connectivity of the floor expressing itself through my pelvis. Nice. So I'm going to change sides so that I'm not all the way over. So bring your left knee forward between your two hands and come rest into a zigzag. So you've brought your left knee forward, two hands, you sit your left bum down, you bend the right knee, and both knees are facing towards the left, feet are towards the right. So sitting up tall, and again, if one of your knees needs help, just stretch your leg out long or sit your bum on a pillow. It'll help. So how would you get taller here? And as I get taller, I'm noticing that the right side is shortening, the left side is lengthening through my waist. Nice. And then reach your left hand up and get really long through the left side. So like kind of find the elastic, and then it's not a collapse, but just soften the left side. Your arm is still up. And then reach through the left side and then soften. So just find the boing of you. Boing, boing. I really love this sense of, there is this extra bit of reach, and the gesture of up in my body begins to connect like the ribs, the waist, the pelvis. My leg comes into it more. So it's not a shape we're doing, it's a direction that we're embodying. It's the direction connection. Nice. Pausing there, really long through that left arm. Feel how, like for me, I'm recruiting space and length from my legs. My left side is really pulling upwards, my rib cage, my armpit, my fingers. Nice. Sweep your left hand down, bring it behind your bum, somewhere there that it lands, and then hold on to your left knee with your right hand. Twist deeply towards the left. What are your feet doing? Can you engage down into your feet? So I'm going to push the big toe side and the baby toe side of my feet into the floor. I'm going to create length by imagining that I'm going to rise up off the floor. So instead of being like dull towards the floor, I'm really dynamic towards the floor. And as I do that, it's like I'm just about to lift and rise in this direction. Suddenly I feel my legs connecting. I feel my spine connecting. Nice. I'm resting down, both elbows to the floor, forehead to your knee, nose to your knee. And then I have to kind of surrender and find, how do I soften my weight? Where does my weight come from? Is it the back of my body? Is it the front of my body? How do I really connect in? Nice, rising up. Legs are long. Just roll into your ankles. And just close your eyes, and as you move your feet, what tells you you have feet as you move them? What are the places and parts of your feet? How do you know where your feet are? How do you know left and right from each other? I've said this before, but I spent a summer when I was around 11. It was the summer of Remington Steel. I learned how to move one of my eyebrows. And I learned how to move my toes individually. So to open your toes, each one wide, and squeeze them in. And as you do this, keep your eyes closed. What part of your body is trying to help your toes move? I love it. Great. Come lie on the floor. Land all the way down, landing in. Just arrive. Just take a minute, a moment to land on the floor. Nice. Very nice. Oh, my feet feel great. Very lovely. So I will see you all tomorrow for day 5. And notice your feet during the day. What kind of shoes do you wear? Can your toes express themselves? Can you take your shoes off for a bit and walk barefoot outside? Have you walked barefoot outside recently? It's an amazing thing to do for your spine, for your grounding, for everything, walking on the grass or any kind of surface. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for joining me. It's always a pleasure. Ciao, slán.